This game isn't for exactly all the marbles, but it's still pretty important. We take a look at the Kings as they get ready to face off against the Ducks tonight in Anaheim. We're going to look at that on today's episode of Locked On Los Angeles Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily podcast on the Los Angeles Kings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everyone, welcome to Locked On Los Angeles Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. My name is Sarah Pampato, your host of this show, and as always, I'm super glad to be here with you talking about your favorite hockey team and mine, the Los Angeles Kings. Today, we're going to take a look at the upcoming game against the Anaheim Ducks, but first, I do want to say thank you to all of you out there for listening and making today's show your first listen of the day or the afternoon every day of the week here at Locked On Los Angeles Kings. We're going to look at what's going on with the Ducks and the Kings. And to do that, I have got Locked On Ducks host JD Hernandez here to take a look at our two teams and their closely linked rebuild periods and what's going on there. So let's check it out.
First, if you'll indulge me, let's talk about our last games from both teams, since I happen to watch both. Let's start with the Anaheim Ducks because they're better. I'm kidding. You're going to hang up if I say that.
Yeah,
no?
I am.
No, the Ducks aren't better right now.
Strike one.
So the Ducks, ouch. Their last game took place at the Panda against the San Jose Sharks. That was a pretty fun one to watch. That one went all the way to a shootout. Rickard Rakell did get 2 official goals in this game, and then it went to a shootout. Anthony Stolarz was brilliant in this shootout, but can we talk about Trevor Zegras for a hot minute? Because
no.
Trevor Zegras, no, we can't. We can't talk about the fact that Trevor Zegras is leading the National Hockey League in shootout goals this season. We can't talk about the fact that Trevor Zegras is one of the, if not the most marketable players in the National Hockey League, and he's amazing.
Disgusting.
We can't talk about the fact that Trevor Zegras is well above 50% in the shootout. So, hey, there's that, right?
I mean, maybe if your team finished out games earlier, you wouldn't need him to be that good in the shootout. Oh, hey.
Oh, wow. Wow. But a win is a win, right?
I mean, I guess.
I mean, the Ducks will take wins any way they can. It sucks in the row column, but a win is a win. They'll take it. But I also want to talk about Rickard Rakell. 2 goals on that game and a filthy shootout goal. He roofed it to win the game. Amazing effort by the Ducks. So that was their last game. The Kings' last game, that took place in Glendale, Arizona, not Phoenix, according to local news, whatever. But the Ducks were victorious against the Arizona, soon to be Quebec City Coyotes.
What? You mean the Kings were victorious, sir?
I'm kidding. Let me. The Kings were victorious against the soon-to-be displaced Coyotes. 3-2 was the final score. Kempe was good. Victor Arvidsson, though, man, he was good in that game.
He's a delight. That's why.
Just a delight.
I mean, gotta dole out your praise sparingly. Always keep him wanting more.
I would say Victor Arvidsson was a good pickup for the Kings, despite some fans saying, oh, he's not doing as good as Philip Deneau. Look, Deneau is awesome.
I mean, not to put you on the spot, but I'm reasonably certain that you are someone who took quite some time to come around to Victor Arvidsson as being good or useful or anything. So...
yes, I was one of them. I'll admit it.
Mm-hmm.
But Arvidsson was great last night.
Mm-hmm.
And so was Philippe Deneau.
Mm-hmm.
Who did get a sweet assist on Arvidsson's first goal. So, hey, you know what? The Kings pulled through.
Yep.
On this one. A game they should have won, and they did. And that leads me to ask this question. Victor Arvidsson has 15 goals this season. He's quietly becoming a very solid contributor for the LA Kings. what kind of difference has he made in that roster this season?
I think that first off, having anyone who can score, particularly someone who scores on the wing, has been a problem the Kings have been trying to solve for ages. And sure, he's streaky, which we knew coming in. We knew what acquiring him from the Predators, that was sort of the book on him, was that he wasn't consistent, which is fine. No one is really. But I think that having him on the team has given an additional dimension on offense. He's already shown that he can kind of play up and down the lineup. He spent some time with Kopitar. Now he's playing a lot with he's also played a lot with Phil Deneau, Adrian Kempe. So just having someone that versatile, and also he's just really, really fun to watch. Loves to shoot the puck.
He's on that power play unit with some of those guys right now too.
Yeah. And the Kings have so many guys who are pass first players. So having someone like Arvidsson who is no, I'm going to take this puck and I'm going to shoot it as many times as I can, is honestly kind of refreshing.
Same with Deneau too. Deneau, I think, has made a huge difference. He's also becoming that shoot first guy. So this is the dimension that the Kings have been missing for a while.
Yeah.
And for Kings fans, it's refreshing to see, which has led them in a playoff spot. But the Ducks, they're starting to pull through on offense as well. And I'm sure you've seen plenty of the Ducks this season. And I'm sure there's guys that you're impressed with in Anaheim right now.
No, they're all dead to me.
Oh, come on. I gave you something right now. You can't give me anything. You're not going to give me any praise with Trevor Zegras and Rickard Rakell? None?
Trevor Zegras is really fun. Seems like a cool kid.
And he's good.
Yeah.
Trevor he has 39 points.
I know.
He's among the team leaders in points.
I know. If I don't acknowledge that he's good, then maybe I don't ever have to deal with it.
At least give me Troy Terry.
Troy Vetchkin, you mean?
Yes, Troy Vetchkin. You got to give me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy Vetchkin has 26 goals already this season. Who is coming around right now is Rickard Rakell. He is kind of on a hot streak right now. He already has 14 goals. He just passed Trevor Zegras in goals. 14 goals, 25 points. He's starting to come around a little bit. And I could see those top two lines for the Ducks starting to make kind of a difference. Maybe you should watch out for that.
I guess.
I'm just saying that it's a reimagined line for the Ducks right now. And I look at what Coach Eakins is doing. He did shuffle everyone around recently. He separated Trevor Zegras and Sonny Milano, and dare I say it kind of worked? ? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. But it kind of worked against Vancouver, although Vancouver looked awful that game. They've looked awful recently up until Thursday night's game. Hi, Calgary. I hope you like getting blown out. And then I look at the last game the Ducks played against the Sharks. Should it have gone to a shootout? Probably. There were some bad streaks in that game as well. But I look at the Kings game, also, their last game. They should have beaten Arizona by a lot more than one goal in that game.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, every team always has that one team that they struggle against that they really shouldn't struggle against. I know this season, the Carolina Hurricanes, I think, have not won yet against the Ottawa Senators, for example. They have been getting blown out of the water by the Senators. Or last year, whenever, what was it, Detroit, Detroit and Montreal, and Detroit swept the season series or whatever. There's always just that one team that you're wow, this is embarrassing. And that's kind of been the Coyotes for the Kings this season. They have just really struggled against them for no apparent reason, except for the goalie Vejmelka just standing on his head. No, they've been really frustrating, annoying games to watch. It wasn't
even Vejmelka last night. It was Wedgwood, of all people.
Oh, that's right. It was former Ontario Reign legend Scott Wedgwood.
Oh, we're going to go there.
He played there.
He did. Yeah, I know he did, right? Right alongside Ontario Reign legend Cal Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a blast from the past. All right, we are going to head into the first commercial break. But I mean, I love Built Bars. You love Built Bars. They're the best protein bar around, right?
They sure are.
By the way, what is your favorite flavor of Built Bar?
Lately I've been really digging the, what's it called? Like the coconut brownie chunk ones, which is very out of character for me because I don't really enjoy coconut that much, but the whole combo of the coconut, the brownie chunks, the chocolate, just really like chef kiss. Just amazing.
You know which one I've been enjoying recently, and I'm glad you got me these, are the blueberry muffin ones.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, I've come around to those, and they taste delightful. I love them. So if you all want to try some of these fantastic Built Bar flavors for yourself, like the blueberry muffin or the coconut brownie chunk, then head over to built.com. And you know what they also have? They have Built Puffs.
Oh,
Yeah, and they're delicious. Like my personal favorite flavor, you know what it is. Killing Raw! The churro puff.
exactly.
Yeah, love it. They're so good. And they're going to be your new favorite as well. So where should they go check out these Built Bars and Built Puffs?
They should go on their little hand computers or whatever you visit internet things on to built.com and check out what they've got available.
Yeah, most Built Bars contain only 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and at least 17 grams of protein. And if you use promo code LOCKED15, that'll give you a 15% discount on your next order. Isn't that great?
That's delightful.
Yes, Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar ever. Coming up after the first intermission, we're going to preview Friday night's tilt at the Ponza. So let's start to preview this game because this is a very important game for both teams, frankly. First, I'm going to go big picture on this and then kind of go small picture. So big picture, you know where I'm going with this, the standings.
Right.
As of this recording, the Vegas Golden Knights have 62 points. The Kings have 61. Edmonton and the Ducks and the Dallas Stars all have 59 points, and they're all tied for that final wild card spot. And the Kings right now, they're kind of in the catbird seat. If they win this game, they could potentially leapfrog ahead of Vegas and inch closer to Calgary, who lost their last game. Their winning streak finally came to an end.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Vancouver.
Yeah, it's about time they lost. So let's look big picture here. The Kings have 31 games left. They're currently in a playoff spot. The Ducks have 29 games left. They're right there on the bubble. First question, how big is this particular game for the Kings?
It would be enormous, sir. I think that it's, we've both been covering these teams for a long time. We've both been doing these shows for a couple years now. The trajectory that both of these teams have been on of, rebuild, retool, whatever, the fact that they, and, I've said it on my show. I know you've talked about it too. Literally no one thought the Ducks were going to be in this position. Like nobody. Most people didn't think the Kings would be up here either. Also, I do have to say, like, it is completely blowing my mind that they're like 1 point behind Vegas. Like that's just wild to me. But yeah,
weren't you the one that said that they could make the playoffs this season?
Yes, I did. And everyone thought that I was dumb.
I didn't.
Well, thank you. But everyone else did. So,
I just thought you were bold.
Internet, yeah. But so, I mean, yeah, this has huge implications for both teams. Knowing that, maybe it has slightly fractionally more for the Ducks, just because the Ducks have played more games by 2 than the Kings. So,
they're behind.
They're behind. They have a little bit more ground to catch up on. But this is one of those games where when all is said and done in April, and if someone is not in a spot that they want to be in, it's going to be games like this that you're going to look back on and say, oh man, we really could have used those 2 points.
And it's important for the Ducks because, as you mentioned, they have 2 fewer games left to play, and they are behind right now. This game, I think, would be enormous for the Ducks to win, because right now they are kind of riding a good streak. Yes, it's against two non-playoff teams. They just beat up on Vancouver and had a thriller against the Sharks. Now they're finally playing a team that they're chasing, but a team they're chasing that is right within their grasp. It's right there. It would probably mean more to the Ducks than the Kings at this moment because of where they are in the standings and because of the whole optics of this is supposed to be a rebuild and look at us now. I think more people expected the Kings to be at a further stage of their rebuild than the Ducks right now. Like, the Kings are rebuilding, but we expected them to be further along. Not many people expected the Ducks to be this far in their, what now some people, including myself, are saying it's an accelerated rebuild right now. And you look at some of the moves that the Ducks have made. They just recently called up Brendan Gooley from the San Diego Gulls, and he could be a guy that makes a difference. I know the Kings are familiar with everyone on that roster. And then you look at the goaltending for really both teams. Gibson has been stellar for the Kings. Or sorry, Gibson's been stellar for the Ducks. Wow,
I mean, I'll take him if you're going to trade him to me.
I will admit my mea culpas there. So Gibby's been great for the Ducks. Quick has been better than expected for the Kings this season. I'm fully expecting Quick versus Gibby on this one.
Yeah. I mean, I won't be surprised either way, because Peterson played against Arizona.
Yes, he did.
And they have been, for a while they were just playing Quick every game because he was on a really hot streak. He's still doing good, but I think has cooled off a little bit from the, we've turned back the clock to 2012 Jonathan Quick. So I feel like they've gone a little bit back to just the regular, rotation between the two of them. So it would be a quick game for this one. And knowing that, so for the Kings, it's a back-to-back. They're in Anaheim Friday night and then back at home in I can't believe it's not Staples Center, on Saturday against the Islanders. So that would be the Islanders are not good this year somehow. So it would be a softer landing for Cal Peterson.
Wow.
What?
But I got to think about, I'm the kind of person that thinks about rivalry. And if you want to have anyone in net for this game, it's got to be Jonathan Quick, right?
Right. But I mean, I will say that Todd McClellan he's not overly sentimental about that. He respects the rivalry, but at the end of the day, he's going to put in the goaltender that he thinks is going to get him the win. Just look at the fact that this was the first season in basically ever that Jonathan Quick didn't get the home opener. They gave it to Cal Peterson. So I think that he, obviously knows this is a rivalry. A, he's a smart guy. B, played in San Jose or coached in San Jose. How all of these teams are. But I think that for him, I don't see, if Cal Peterson was playing lights out right now, I think he'd get the start.
But Cal Peterson he's been just okay. Right. Let's face it.
Right.
By the way, some of these little micro stats, just because I think they're fun. Jonathan Quick, his career against the Ducks in 48 games, he is 24-13-9 with a .910 save percentage and a goals against of 243. One shutout. So not, they're okay numbers, right?
Right.
Yeah, they're fine. John Gibson against the LA Kings, 22 games. He's 14-7-0. Save percentage 922. Goals against 223 and 2 shutouts. Yeah, John Gibson has shown up against the LA Kings. In fact, that is one of the best save percentages against many other teams in the NHL. So if you're the Ducks, you've got to start Gibby, especially because they started Stolars in their previous game. So that's why I'm expecting a quick Gibson game Friday night.
Those stats are disgusting.
Oh, Gibby stats?
Yeah.
Quicks aren't too bad.
No,
right?
His are crazy.
Oh, Gibby is great against the Kings.
I know. It's very frustrating. It's why I don't like watching these teams play each other.
Hey, Gibby has done well, except for one player. One player has drawn the ire of John Gibson his entire career. And I've mentioned it on your podcast. And you know who that player is?
I'm sure that I do, but I don't remember right now.
Yeah. But we'll reveal that after this brief word from BetOnline. Oh, there's a tease. So, BetOnline is where the game starts. And, football season is over, but the real football is happening because, soccer, but it's the real football. Basketball's in full steam. Baseball is what is baseball right now?
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, what is baseball? It's dead to us right now. Maybe there's something on BetOnline about when will it end. Anyway, so basketball is in full steam. We got the NBA and college basketball. And you know what starts next week, Sarah? You know what starts next week in college basketball?
Pony time.
March Madness, baby!
Oh boy.
Yeah, March Madness. Get the brackets out. So, if you want to check out the latest odds, totals, brackets, all that stuff, betonline.net is your number one spot for all your sports betting needs. And hey, you know what? There's hockey, boxing, UFC, all kinds of other sports. You can check out all the latest lines at betonline.net. Head to the website today using either your mobile device or your laptop or your old school Dell computer that has Windows 98. You could log on from there too. What? I know someone that still uses Windows 98, by the way.
Good luck to that person. Bless
Yes.
you. And thank you for your service.
BetOnline is where the game starts. It is the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. And what should they do, Sarah?
Eat a Built Bar.
And they should also gamble responsibly. Welcome back to Locked On SoCal Hockey, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm Jason JD Hernandez, and in the middle of the show, I have to make a correction and retraction. So I retract all the crap I said about the Flames. Yeah, they didn't get a shutout. They scored a very late goal, so they merely lost 7-1.
I was really afraid that you were going to say that they had somehow come back. And then I was just going to shut this podcast off and walk into the snow, never to be heard from again.
No, Mangiapane scored. He loves bread.
That's fine.
Everybody gets some bread. I will not play the song. Maybe I'll play the song. Should I play the song? Nah.
No,
I'm not going to play it. No. But it's a fun song. I'm just saying. Okay, so we talked about the big picture standings. Just looking at some of these kind of fun stats here. The Kings right now, they are on a bit of a good streak. I mean, they have played Arizona twice. They beat Detroit. They beat the Islanders. But hey, they beat Vegas the other night. In Vegas.
I'm still riding high on that one.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
The Ducks wins recently. They haven't been against good teams, frankly. They beat the Canadiens, the Senators, the Canucks, and the Sharks. You know how many of those teams are in a playoff spot right now?
I mean, not too many.
That would be exactly 0.
Yeah. Hey, the Canadiens have won a whole bunch of games. Cole Caulfield's alive again. So, maybe they're good now.
So the Canadiens are not the worst team in the NHL is what you're saying, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
So maybe the Locked On, polls, maybe the power rankings are a little off. Maybe Arizona really is the worst team in the NHL. Soon to be Quebec City.
You're so mean.
They don't deserve a team right now. They don't. I hope they lose 50 games and they move. All right. So looking at the comparison of these two teams, special teams, not so good for the Kings. They are
let's just not even. I don't even want to talk about that. No, you can talk about it. I refuse to acknowledge their special teams.
Look, I'm just providing a preview for the game, and I'm just providing the stats as is.
Yeah, they're terrible.
The Kings are in the bottom 10 in both power play and penalty kill. The Ducks are 5th in power play. They're 10th in PK. Their PK has plummeted recently, thanks in part to the Edmonton Oilers. And even more thanks to the Calgary Flames. Yeah, the PKs looked weird lately. But looking at the goals, they're pretty even. Ducks a little bit better offense. Kings a little bit better defense right now. So it's pretty even as far as goals and goals allowed right now between both of these teams. And they're right there in the standings. It's a close matchup between these two teams. What do you think of this particular matchup? What do you think is going to be the big difference?
I mean, the Kings are going to want to play this one at even strength. Like no way around it. The power play has heated up a little bit. They've been scoring on it a little bit more, but they've also been playing against, like you said, bad teams. So, take it all with a grain of salt. So I think if this game is played at even strength, the Kings have, a better chance. But if they start taking a bunch of really stupid penalties, or if the Ducks start taking penalties and the Kings can't capitalize on any of the chances on the power play, it's going to make the little time they have at even strength even more important. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing to watch out for in this game for me is just please don't take penalties. Adrian Kempe, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, Adrian Kempe, he looked a little bit despondent at the end of that last game, didn't he? After taking a bad penalty, right?
Yeah, I mean, he should know better, but I mean, he has gotten a lot better at not taking the stupid penalties, and his team bailed him out on it, so good. But
Right.
like, oh man, it's always so rough when it's like a close game, bad penalty at the end. But yeah, Adrian, I thought we talked about this.
The Ducks could say the same thing about that last game because they nearly blew that last game against San Jose. The Sharks were on a power play in overtime. Frankly, they should have won it in overtime. Jakob Silfverberg looked very upset. Although that was a soft call, you still cannot be taking that penalty late in the game. You just can't. So I could say the same thing for the Ducks too. You cannot take any dumb penalties like that. I'm looking at players like Delorier, who takes a lot of penalties. Sam Carrick kind of takes a lot. Silfverberg, he's had a couple of bad penalties. But you know who's good at drawing penalties this season has been Trevor Zegras. He's been very good. I mean, he's Trevor Zegras, but he's been drawing a lot more penalties over the past 10 games. He averages about a drawn penalty per game right now.
All right.
That's a weird stat, but yes, that is in fact true. So if you're the Kings, you probably have to watch your ass and not take any dumb penalties, or don't let Trevor Zegras free in the zone. And if you do, maybe you take that penalty. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, unfortunately, this is a Kings Ducks game. When have these two teams ever met? Here's a good trivia question for you that, like,
Oh, no.
I feel like I'm going to need you to research the answer to because I know I'm not going to do it. Like,
Okay.
what is the fewest penalty minutes these two teams have racked up in a game against one another? And like,
Oh my God, that's a great
obviously because
question.
there's a long history, we can just say over the past 5 seasons or something. I don't know, but like, it's a Kings Ducks game. Like, of course, it's going to be stupid penalties, and like Nick Deslauriers is going to fight Brendan Lemieux or something. Like, of course, like we just know. So like both of us saying all of this, even strength, special teams, drawing penalties, like it's all garbage. They're all going to spend the whole game hating each other because that's what they do.
True. Yeah, this one's going to be hard to research in the next few minutes because we're running out.
No, it's a research project for the future. We can talk about it next time we do a crossover.
Right. I mean, these two teams are going to meet later on.
Right. Like season. 8 billion. Like, have we even played each other yet this season?
Just once.
Once? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know how that game went?
I've blocked it from my memory, so it probably went poorly.
The Ducks won.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a thrilling game. Wow, how easily you forget the shootout.
I legitimately do not remember this. When was this?
This was around Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, no recollection.
See, I remember this because that was kind of the start of Trevor Zegras' shootout prowess. Oh
yeah, I don't remember it because my memory is trash. So thank you for reminding me of something terrible.
This was when Zegras just undressed Jonathan Quick in the shootout. Yeah. And you know who won that game?
Well,
Kevin
you already
Shat-
spoiled it.
Kevin Shattenkirk won that game
Oh,
with
that's
a stick.
right.
There it
Gross.
is. There it is. Did I bring that back? I'm sorry.
That's terrible.
Hey, the Kings got a point in that one,
Yeah, well.
which, looking back, probably wasn't a good idea for the Ducks to allow that point.
Too
Oh
late
boy.
now.
Yeah, I'm sure they want to take back that point right now. And you know who scored in that game? Troy Vetchkin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, see, now it's coming back. So it's 1-0 so far this season series. So we are at that point of the podcast. Before we go into predictions, who's one player that could make the difference for the Kings?
Huh. I'm gonna say Sean Dursey.
Ah, damn. Jersey's good. He's good.
He has been great since he first jumped in. He has been getting better every game. I love watching him, on the blue line. I feel like if there is any redeeming value to the Kings power play, it's getting to watch Sean Dursey, get better and better each time and become that player. Like just watch him on the power play and watch him keep the puck in and help distribute it to his teammates and whatever. The offense is still not quite there in terms of goal scoring, although he's gotten on the score sheet a lot for some pretty smart assists. He's just a really smart player, and I think the Kings are, thank you Toronto for giving us Sean Dursey. That was really rad. So I think that he can be a difference maker for this team.
And you are very apt at bringing up Sean Dursey. I was going to bring up Sean Dursey as well because he's one of those players. That was one of his first games in the National Hockey League, this season.
Mm-hmm.
And Dursey had a very good game against the Ducks that day. He had an assist. But I just remember that he was kind of all over the place and giving Ducks players fits and bringing that physicality to that big stage at the time. I thought Dursey had a great game against Anaheim all the way back then. And that was kind of the first time where I was really, really impressed with him as a member of the Kings. So you could
He's delightful.
You could be very right on that. The one player that I'm looking forward to seeing against the Kings, it's got to be Troy Terry. I could talk about all these other young players, but I got to go with Troy Terry. Terry, I think, is on the verge of having a breakout game against the Kings. I think he scores at least one goal in this game at Honda Center. He's hungry for it. He knows how important this game is. So that's going to be the one player that I'm going to keep my eye on for this game. Absolutely.
All right.
All right, Sarah. All right, I'm going to make you do it. Prediction time. Give me a prediction. Give me a score prediction for this game.
Oh man. I'm going to go 3-2 Kings. Regulation
3-2.
win. Yeah.
Oh, regulate. You had to say it.
Yeah, I'm not giving you an extra point.
You know what? I'm going to go 4-3 in overtime. I'm going to go 4-3 overtime. Ducks win. And Troy Terry will get the game-winning goal.
All right. Also, last time I predicted the Kings, for Ducks folks who obviously don't listen to Locked On Kings, you have no reason to. I get it. It's cool. Basically, anytime I've predicted the Kings to win a game, they blow it. But it feels like morally wrong to me to suggest that the Ducks would win this game. So please know I may have just jinxed the Kings myself right now, because every time I've been confident that they were going to blow it, they ended up winning. But yeah, I may have ruined things, and if so, Kings fans, I'm sorry.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a fun game, though.
Maybe
this is to be honest, this is a game that I've been looking forward to for the better part of a couple of weeks, just because of the improvement of both the Kings and the Ducks, and some of these young up and coming players on both sides are just a freaking delight to watch. I almost said it. But it's gonna be fun to watch. All right, Sarah. Where can the fine folks find your work online, and where can they find you on the socials?
So you can find me on Twitter at @RightSaidSarah. Locked On Kings is of course available wherever you get your podcasts. I'm on Twitter at LockedOnLAKings with the show, tweeting all about the Kings and stuff, and you can come say hi to me there.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at StimpyJD. The show's Twitter is at LO_Ducks. You can find this podcast as well as Locked On Kings. It's free and available across all platforms, including Stitcher, Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, among many others. And also, don't forget to make Locked On Ducks your first listen of the day, and make Locked On LA Kings your second listen of the day, because Sarah does a good job there. And if you're a Ducks fan, know your enemy. Just saying, right? So I will give the shout out to Locked On Los Angeles Kings. There you go, Sarah.
Sweet. I'll pay you later for it. Thanks.
Thanks. All right. Once again, thank you all so much for listening, and enjoy the Freeway Faceoff today. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys.